This video is going to take you through using Excel to do some of your calculations. Sheets. We use Excel in the past, but we don't have it on our computers anymore. If you have a computer that you want to use Excel, you're welcome to do that. Um, but I have some data here. This file is on your Canvas page. So you'd start out by opening this file and then pausing the video as we go. So I have two sets of data. They're for countries, and it is the life expectancy and the GDP, gross domestic product per capita. So that's how much your country produces. Um, in so it's an indication of the economy of your country. So I have all these things we're going to calculate, and so we're going to calculate them for each data set and for each country. And so to do a formula, you always type in equal, and then there are built-in formulas. So count is going to give me the number of values in the data set. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to highlight so I know how far, or you can either do that or go to the bottom and find out. We'll know pretty soon and we'll just use it over and over again. There's a lot of values in this list. So 195, so parentheses, and it tells me how many are in that group. And it's going to ask to autofill. We don't want to do that. Now here's the nice thing in Excel or in Sheets, you can drag it to the right and it's going to copy that formula for, it's going to try to pick it up. So it changed, if you notice, it changed it to C. So now I have that formula for C. So for the mean, I type in average, and I know I can use what I used for the last one. I can go back and highlight it again if I want, but I know it went from B2 to B195. So I'm just going to use that. So B2 to B195, and then I'll drag it over. And you always want to make sure these are different. If they are, then it probably copied the formula the right way. Mode, there might not be a mode. So there was one that repeated for age. There was not one for GDP. Standard deviation, there's a couple standard deviations that show up. I want to just use this one. And it auto-filled, so I got to change that. B2 to B195. And I want to drag it over. So each time I'm typing equals min B2 to B195 equals quartile. I want to be inclusive B2 to B195, and I want to type in 1. It'll show you usually what things to type in. And that gives me the first quartile equals median B2 to B195. Three. So you can see the min, the quartile, the median, the quartile, the max, and that's our 5-number summary. For some reason that's italicized. Got some weird formats going on here. And then interquartile range. So this is how you can find it. You hit equals, and I'm gonna go Q3. I click on it minus Q1. Other things I might want to calculate are the range. So that's equal to the maximum minus the minimum. So I have pretty much the things that I want to see. The only thing I didn't do is drag these over. Whoops. And drag those over. And I think I can drag the whole thing over and it will do it for me. So now I have all these one variable data sets that we use when we're talking about different things, and we can compare that sort of thing. But it's typing in equals. Most of the formulas are built in. So next step would be how to make a histogram. So I'm going to highlight all my data and I'm going to show you something here. The histogram maker is not the best on here, and I found one that's a lot easier to use. So I highlight all of them, right click and go to copy, and then I open this link to it. It's called Easy Histogram Maker. I put it in there for you. And all you have to do is go to paste. So Control V, paste those values and make a histogram. And so it makes a nice histogram for you. When you put it in your paper, you're going to want to change the label and stuff, but you can choose your boundaries. It picks a pretty good one for you. You can see that this is negatively skewed. So you can specify the class range. You can do that and edit different things. The other thing that's really nice is it allows you to double check some of your numbers. Some of these things are things we don't use, like kurtosis and skewness. But the nicest part here probably is that it makes a frequency table. So you'll see I have this thing called the snipping tool. You need to look up. You should know how to do that on your Chromebook, but you can look up how to snip pictures. And so I just copy that and paste it back into my document. So I have a place for a frequency table. You can look up online, you're welcome to, on how to make a frequency table. It's really not very easy. So they already did it for you, so it's kind of nice. You can see the ranges are all the same. It picked good values. I would recommend doing that. And then for your histogram, go back and mine disappeared. And you can copy and paste that back in. So the histogram maker does the frequency table and the histogram. Okay, keep going here. If I want to make a scatter plot, this is really easy. I just highlight all the data in both columns, including the titles. Go to insert, and there's all these different options. We want to insert a chart, and it picked the chart that we wanted right away. But if it didn't pick that, you can change what your chart is. We want it to be a scatter chart, and so it shows. It decides what you want to have on the x-axis and the y-axis. As you can see, life expectancy as it goes up, as it increases GDP. So generally, the GDP predicts that life expectancy, and you can customize your chart to have other things on it. That this allows you to edit your title. You need to have titles on there, and there's some things you can put in, like a trend line and showing R squared, which is uh, allows you to figure out standard deviation of the trend line. But this will something we'll talk about later, and you can actually get the equation of that. I have to mess around with. I forget how to do that a little bit because I know how to do it in Excel. There we go. If you right click, that usually allows you to modify your chart. If you right click on it, and you can add in different things. That's called a line of best fit, and you can see it's positive, and it's not perfect, but it's positive. And so this R squared value, if we take the square root of that, we get how strong the correlation is for our data. Okay, so let's keep going. Um, Pie charts, you can do it with what you have here and just highlight that and insert chart. And so it makes a bar graph. If you want to change it, you change it to pie chart, and that labels it. Pie chart's kind of a weak way to demonstrate data, but if you're just showing the general information, this shows some ice cream data. And the last one I want to show you is box plot. And you'll see here, again, I don't think the Sheets has a very good box plot maker, so I have a program that does it. So I highlight all the data that I want to make a box plot for. And go to copy, and then open the link that was on here. And this really nice box plot maker, you can set it to do whatever you want, color, all that business. I don't know why it asks for a title and a name. And I had some other data in here already, so I'm going to clear that data if there happens to be something in, and then you just paste it and calculate. And it makes a box plot that you can copy and paste in, and it shows, your quartiles. Um, it'll have data down here. You could again check it against what you already found. It tells you skew, tells you things we don't even know, outliers. So 47.1 is an outlier. It even has that, and it didn't include that in here. So it refigured it without the outlier. So this information is helpful to share using your outlier formula. So those are things, and you can save the image and then put it in your IA or whatever you're working on. Most of these features, if you need extra help, you can just type in what you want help with, and type in sheets. And somebody has made a video. You might not follow it. It's not the same data that you have, but it's something you can use. So work through each of those and fill in your spreadsheet.